The majority of my pre-birth experience took place somewhat immediately preceding this lifetime, where I had taken a long break. And I remember this guide coming to me frequently asking, "Are you ready to go back yet? Are you ready to go back yet?" And putting him off for a while because I was just reluctant to give up this state that I was in for a long time, and eventually saying, "Okay, I'm ready." And then I remember reviewing with this guide what I can only describe as like my state, like who I was, what I had been, what I had known. And it was very clear the thing that I needed to, I don't like the word work on, but the thing I needed to experience or do, the process. And the best way I can describe it in English is to say it was like a fear. It was a low vibration perception that vested me in a previous experience and had led me into a place where I had become a very damaging person. And it was so dauntingly low vibration that even there I asked, is it even possible? Is it possible for any being to meet an experience of this low vibration, this much pain and fear, and integrate it and heal it? Has it ever been done in all of creation? And I was showed, yes, yeah, it has been, and you have all time given to you. You don't have to do it all at once. And so I knew from that point of view, like, if it can be done, I will do it. And that sounds kind of foreign to me here as the human, because it can be very daunting at times. But at that point, I just knew I could do it. So they brought me a lifetime, a physical life that was appropriate for this intention of mine. And I reviewed that life and I accepted it. And I knew that that life and all of the context that was involved in that life was extremely appropriate for my intention. You know, it was just a really good match. And so I remember going to this place where I needed to accept the veil. The veil is just a term, but it's just the word we use for the constraints that one must surrender to in order to have the physical experience from the fully immersed human vantage point. And I remember having the veil come over me, and I like to describe it like if you have an amplifier that produces a sound pitch, like, and then you turn the knob down, and then you turn it down some more, and then when it gets to the bottom, you turn it down some more, keep turning it. That's what it felt like in the body of my being, to plummet down from this place of all connectedness and knowing. Like I knew all of myself, and I knew all that is, and I knew I was connected to everything. And to have that feel like it was being erased and obscured from me, and feeling like I was plummeting down to this very dense location where it was like there was no heat and no air. It was just like a vacuum that was also dense. That's kind of what it felt like to be bodily. And so after I did that, I saw that I was in the womb as an unborn child, and I was only there for a short time. And I said, you know what? I'm not doing this. Because I had so much fear rise up immediately, because I felt like all of who I was had been cut off. And so I was like, I'm not doing this. And I summoned my strength, my might, and I fought my way out again. I pushed back past the veil, and I was able to do that. I successfully returned to the other side, but I became immediately aware that I had inadvertently killed the fetus. I'd killed the body that was to be mine. And I had a life review for that super, super short life. I don't know how long I was there, but it was super short. But I could see and feel and know how I had negatively impacted the mother, and not only the poor mother who was now in grief, but hundreds of other people, like ripples in a pond away from the mother, hundreds of other people whose journeys were going to be made more difficult because of my fear. And I had all these great intentions, but I could see that I had only heaped difficulty on the journeys of these other beings who I so loved and respected. I mean, these beings who had the courage and the strength to be human. It was like, I couldn't believe I made their journey more difficult. Okay, so I'm going to jump a bit. Okay, so that life opportunity was wasted, but I still wanted to do this. So they brought me this life, this current life that I'm in right now. And this life was not as perfectly, not a perfect match like the other one was. It was still pretty good though. It was good. It was good enough. And I remember reviewing what I can only describe as a vast flowchart of millions and millions of possibilities of how this life might unfold. It was like if you took a tree and laid it on its side, and it was like thick at the trunk at the start, and then as you worked your way out, you got into the branches. It was kind of like that, except it was like what it would be to be me, to be Christian, the human, in all these possible avenues. And there were some that were very likely to occur and some that were much less likely. And it was both my decisions and the decisions of all the other players in the game, the free will choices of the people that were involved, all of us, that would influence, how it would actualize after I got here. So I was super excited. And I remember asking certain questions and requesting certain things. I remember saying, well, I'd like to be intelligent in this life again, because I knew that I had been intelligent in past experiences. And they said, yes, I could do that. And I remember knowing that it would be important that I be a male, because it's just a certain quality of energy that nothing about males and females in this regard. I just mean that being a male had a certain quality to it that was helpful to me to meet this fear that I was coming to face. And I knew that the confidence my father would instill in me would strengthen me and give me a rock to stand on, so I would be able to meet this fear. And I knew that it was very likely that when I was 22, or actually, I'm sorry, the age wasn't known. I knew it was in my early 20s. And it did happen when I was 22, that I would experience a trauma and it would crush me and allow me to re-experience that fear. And that eventually did happen. Okay, so then I remember there having to be a moment to actually say yes, but I don't remember that moment. But I do remember just after that being in this place where I was basically like waiting, and then this guide coming to me and saying, "Go now, like right now," like almost kind of rude, like to get me onto the Earth time or something. Like I was in this state that was like not, and it was like really important. I go right now, and so then the next thing I was with these beings that I can only describe as technicians or tinkerers. They're very mechanical in nature, and they do this thing, at least for me, they do this thing where they match the veil to you. So like the soul has all these rich qualities, and the life and the body and the context have like their own thing going on, and they do this thing where they like, I don't know, they make it all like energetically fit. And they did that, and they asked me one last time, "Are you sure that you want to do this? Because once you say yes here, you're in for the ride. Like there's no getting off the roller coaster after you press this button." And I said yes. And then I remember once again the veil coming over me and my energy plummeting down, 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 lower, 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 lower. And this time, just basically choosing not to fight, like just surrendering my control and letting the veil come over me and like hold on to me and allow it to work through me the way that it would, and not fight it. And I did that. And so then I was here in this very, very, very low vibration state by comparison. I felt like I lost all of who I really was, but I knew I was here. And I sent this one message back through this little tiny window. It seemed like a window, not really a window, back to the technicians. Did it take? And they sent one message back, yes. And I was like excited that I had made it, that I had successfully been veiled. Okay, so then I was here for a while. And then after a while I said, you know what? I'm not doing this. This is so dark. This is so low vibration. I'm not myself. I am not doing this. So once again, I began to muster my might to fight my way out. And as I did this, the most holy moment of my life happened, where the great spirit of God came to me, or whatever word we want to use for it. The light, the source came to me, and it showed me all of what I really am, the stars and the galaxies. And I felt the churning of our own sun in my being. I felt all the stars. I felt so much bliss and endless connectedness and love. And it said to me, this is still what you are. You can never not be this. I'm sorry. It's so precious to me and very personal. I've shared it a lot, even though it's so personal, because that's what we are. Not just this human character. We are the being who is knowing being human. Okay, so so that really calmed me. I was like, oh, well, that's still what I am. That's wonderful. That's beautiful. So I relaxed into the simple existence of being in the womb. And the next memory I have is of being born, and the shock and the trauma, physical trauma of being born, but no intellectual understanding at all, no context at all. I was just like, what is this place?